Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his girlfriend has been cheating on him with her coworker. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. I first got suspicious that my girlfriend was cheating on me when she started acting weird about her phone. Cliché, right? She was on her phone constantly all of a sudden, and if I came anywhere near her, she would quickly shove it into her pocket. Then the occasional work trip she had to take became more frequent. And even when she was home, she was always full of reasons to go back out alone. Girls' nights, brunches, yoga, you name it. Any excuse she could find. She was suddenly out more than she was home. So I started taking advantage of all that time alone to do some snooping around. I went through the house first, checking in her dresser drawers, that kind of thing. It turned out to be nothing. There was also nothing in her coat pockets or jewelry box. But then I decided to check inside her car. She got home from work late that day, as was the usual anymore. After she spent more time telling the dog hello than me, she went upstairs to take a shower. I knew I would have a solid 15 minutes to go to the garage, do a quick look through the car, and get back inside before she finished. I slipped into the garage and got in the car to start looking through her glove box. Finding nothing there, I checked out the center console. At first, I just saw the usual mess of random crap. But then I spotted a condom. And not the kind that we used either. I just looked at it for a minute, then dropped it back in and made it back to the couch just as I heard the shower cut off. I had been looking for confirmation, and as far as I was concerned, I had found it. I didn't say anything to her that night. Sure, I could have called her out and dealt with it right then and there, but I didn't just want to end things, I wanted her to pay. My first step was to find out exactly who this asshole was. I went online and started poking around her social media accounts. It took me a while and involved going down a rabbit hole of her various friends' profiles too. But then I found what I was looking for. I was scrolling through one of her friends' pictures when I came across a picture of her and a guy she worked with kissing at some bar. It was posted 2 weeks ago, during one of her supposed work trips. Now I had all the info I needed to come up with the perfect plan to get her out of my life. I waited until a few days later when she made up some excuse about staying overnight at her sister's. It wasn't too hard to keep my mouth shut around her. I barely saw her anyway. Luckily, I knew where the guy lived because he had hosted a Super Bowl party that we went to last year. As soon as she left, I started throwing all of her things in boxes and trash bags. Waiting until about 2 in the morning when I figured they would be asleep, I loaded up my car and went over there. I parked on the street beside his driveway and quickly unloaded all of her crap at the end of the driveway, completely blocking it. It'll be a great surprise for them in the morning when they go to leave and find their way blocked with garbage bags of clothes. I think that should get the message across pretty well. I'll check back in once I see how it goes. Update. Apparently, she was too embarrassed to even talk to me afterwards because I didn't hear a peep from her. But word got around quickly, and I was able to get the details from a friend a few days later. Turns out her boyfriend was more interested in booty calls than a relationship with a live-in girlfriend. She had to move in with her parents. Once word got around her office about what happened, she ended up quitting a few weeks later, and is currently still unemployed as far as anybody knows. I think she got exactly what she deserved. I'm sorry this happened to you, OP. It must have been hard to watch your girlfriend distance herself away from you. She obviously just wanted the security and the apartment her relationship with you provided, which is why she couldn't end things with you. You didn't deserve an absent and cheating partner. Your ex definitely deserves everything that happened after you threw her stuff out. Story 2. I've been reading Reddit for just about 2 years. Never in my life did I think that this would be my first submission. I'm 30, she's 29. Melanie and I met when we were kids. Her brother and I were good friends growing up. I always had a bit of a crush on her, and when we turned 18, we started dating. It worked exceedingly well. We got along great, had similar interests in the outdoors, and we just really enjoyed each other's company. We moved in together in 2005, bought our first home in 2006, and had our first child, a beautiful smart little boy, in 2007. Over the course of 10 years, we went from working low-end jobs making $8 an hour to both of us having university degrees and making a combined $200,000 between us. We grew up together, and this past summer in July, we finally got married. It was a beautiful wedding. Small, intimate, and well worth the wait. We honeymooned in Hawaii while her mom watched our son. We came back from Hawaii, settled down, and conceived what will be our second child in November. Reddit, my life wasn't perfect, but I had essentially everything I could want and then some. I found out on the 30th of December that my wife was having an affair with one of my good friends from February until October. They had sex less than 48 hours after we returned from Hawaii. My wife started pulling away from him immediately after that, but they continued to see each other and be intimate together until late October. They only had intercourse the once after we married. There are a few factors here that make things worse. This guy was my hunting partner. We spent a lot of time together. He planned my bachelor party. He used things that I trusted him with to get closer to my wife. He was relentless. I've seen the text messages and had my wife explain to me what happened. I cheated on her very early in our relationship with a girl. I immediately told her the very next day, and I thought we had worked through it. He talked to her at length about it. She cried and opened up to him. He pressured me like crazy to have a one-night stand with one of his friends before I got married. I didn't, but I can only imagine what he would have done if I had. Reddit, I always felt before that the key to relationships was independence. I made sure that my wife wasn't smothered. I trusted her completely, even over my own feeling that something wasn't right. I always tried to make sure she felt loved, bought her flowers, etc. I wasn't always home as much as I should have been, but I always thought that after 11 years, she would have told me if she was feeling neglected. I am not a perfect mate by any stretch of the imagination. I've taken several hunting and fishing trips with my friends. We stay in nice hotels, eat good food, and really enjoy ourselves. I have not done the same things with my wife. Having our son made it very challenging to spend quality time together, and we never made the effort to get past it. The last 9 days have been so hard I can't express it. I had to leave my job for the week because I just wound up crying in the bathroom every hour. We had an emergency counseling session last week and it helped me a lot. My wife and I are sharing more, talking more, and loving each other more in that same time than we ever have before. My emotions are a dizzying roller coaster ride of highs and lows like I've never dreamed of. My friend's wife is trying to talk to us. She keeps telling me that my wife and this piece of shit are in love and that she needs some of my time. The counselor recommended that I don't talk to her. My wife had a full-on, all-out affair. Do the details really matter? I feel like I don't have a real choice in this situation. She's pregnant with my baby. I'm as sure that it's mine as anything, but I can't prove that. And I love my son more than life itself. I cannot fathom trying to divorce her now, even though a large part of me feels that letting this go isn't doing right by myself. I've always felt that my wife was closed off to me a little bit, even from the time we started dating. That feeling is essentially gone now. A large part of me is falling in love with her all over again after 11 years. We've had mind-blowing sex almost every day since she told me. My wife has said repeatedly that she made some very, very bad decisions and felt trapped by him. It still doesn't excuse what happened at all. In some ways, I feel like my old relationship is gone and that a new one is developing. I don't know what I'm asking here. I don't know why I'm writing this, other than that talking about it with people has been very cathartic. I would love to hear from people who have been through similar situations. Has anyone ever been through such deep, complete betrayal and come out the other side with a better, closer relationship for it? Or am I setting myself up to lose several years of my life trying to start something that can't be? Please help. OP, let me just say that I'm so proud of you for getting counseling and working on things, instead of just leaving her. What she did is horrible, cruel, and downright wrong. But definitely go through and weigh all of your options before divorcing. These things are complicated, and from what you've said, I don't think you could end your relationship with your wife unless you knew you had no other option. Though of course, it goes without saying that your hunting buddy is a douche who you should cut all contact with. In the end, it comes down to whether you feel separation is worth more than staying together. Comparing your gains and losses in each outcome. Some couples have grown stronger after being in this kind of position, while others have been torn apart. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Good luck, OP. Now for some comments. All I can say is that you're a better man than I could ever be in that situation. You'd be reading about me in the news and seeing me rotting in jail for a double homicide. Serious advice? Paternity test, cut out your so-called friend completely and his wife. Continue with the counseling. If you can't forgive her, don't stay married, as it will just create a bad environment for the children. It's better, in my opinion, for the parents to be split and happy, so the children don't have to grow up in a stressful and negative situation. Good luck, dude. I know you've heard this already, but you really need to start holding your wife accountable for what she did. You act like this guy date raped her or something. He didn't. It wasn't even a one-time mistake. Your wife repeatedly had sex with your friend. Stop blaming it on how he is with women and realize it also has a lot to do with how she is with other men. She's the one most deserving of blame. Your friend is a piece of shit, but she told you that she loved you, married you, and then had sex with your friend 2 days after the honeymoon. Take your blinders off, please. I've had a sort of similar thing. However, my relationship was only 3 years when it happened to me. After I found out, I was devastated. But once we started talking again, I do feel like we got closer and things have been better. It did feel like a totally new relationship to me, like we were making a fresh start. It's been 2 years since it happened to me, and the pain still hasn't entirely gone away. But I've been gradually healing, and he's been pretty good at supporting me when I get down about it, which is less and less as time goes on. I hope things turn out okay. You guys got together young, and often people have to make some stupid mistakes to realize they didn't appreciate what they had, and to kick themselves for almost losing everything. Make sure she knows that if anything like this happens again, though, you are gone. But you will give her this second chance because you love her and your son, etc. Good luck.